Welcome to episode 2 of season 3 of Ed's Not Dead. I'm Robbie Dodd. I'm joined by my co-host, Mr. C.H. Siddons.
Hello, welcome back.
What's up, Case?
Hello.
And Mr. Peter Crable.
Did a little something different today, huh?
Yeah, we
on the intro music.
We did, yeah. That was a tribute to frontman for the great 80s group, The Cars, Rick Ocasek, who passed away this past week. Which you guys know that I was very sad about. I am very sad about. They were the soundtrack of my Generation X youth.
Major loss.
Yes, major loss. The Cars were a great band, and I've gotten you guys to like them kind of, right?
Yeah, no, I mean, you can't hear that in your headphones and not feel a little jazzed.
That was
you know
awesome.
what I mean?
That was awesome. We actually used music that's copyrighted.
You're not supposed to say
Yeah,
that.
I'm not supposed to say
You're not
that.
supposed to admit that.
I know.
Whatever.
Casey's got it.
We have full permission to use it.
He's got anxiety.
From the publishing agency.
If anybody wants to contact us, you can. Casey's the
Casey Siddons.
Yeah, LLC. Ed's Not Dead.
That's right.
Speaking of, Ed's Not Dead is brought to you by Pulp Education, a full-service educational media company specializing in leadership, instruction, and 21st century school reform. It's good to be back. Episode 2 of our third season.
Ep 2.
Yeah, we got some good feedback on episode 1. It's great to be back. Thanks for joining us as always, folks. So, Mr. Crable, we have some giveaways, right?
We do. We have some great giveaways.
I'm looking at an Ed's Not Dead sticker. We're really doing the elementary education thing here because we're going to give these away.
We're going to give them away.
For good behavior.
For great behavior.
Okay, so
you get a sticker on the sticker chart.
So what do they have to do to earn their
Very
sticker?
little, but one of two ways. We would love a review on iTunes.
Okay.
Just keep giving those reviews. If you do review us on iTunes, we won't be able to tell who you are or where to send it to.
Okay.
So just shoot us, either tweet at us or just send us a direct message and say, hey.
So they have to tell us.
Yeah, they got to tell us. I mean, we'll be able to see that somebody reviewed us, but we won't be able to necessarily ascertain who it was.
All right. And the stickers are sweet, folks.
They're sweet. We're going to tweet them out and tease them and say, wouldn't you like one of these?
Okay.
Just like that.
Yeah, in that exact same voice.
Yeah.
Perfect on the corner of a back window of a car.
Very nice.
Or on the cover of a computer.
Yes.
Yeah, I mean,
they're
it's-
circular
Yeah, they're good.
and they're green.
Yeah, they're lime green.
Yes, and they're slightly bigger than Casey's dime-sized stickers that he got before.
I think they're only slightly bigger.
These are 2
they have
inches.
rounded corners.
That's right.
All I know is that
It's an optical
when he
illusion.
sent us the first picture of those stickers, I was so psyched. And then when he put them down on the table,
You thought it was going to be like an 8x10.
it was like the size of a penny.
It came out of my own pocket. Okay?
But they
I
were
know,
sweet
I know.
stickers.
They were
Yes.
they were good.
My meager teacher's salary.
And people liked them.
They did.
Yeah.
All right.
We got
And
them on laptops around.
yeah, we
me
got the
and-
rest of them. They're all gone. So,
All right.
And then the other way, if you tag 10 people on Twitter and say, "Hey, listen to this episode," we'll see that. And I guess you have to tag us too.
Yeah, just tag us, and then we'll when we decide, or when we get the mentions, then we'll DM you to get your address.
There you go. So one of 2 ways: either give us a review on iTunes and let us know, or DM us or tag us on Twitter. Tag 10 other people. We'll send you 5 stickers.
Cool.
And all your friends.
And Ed's Not Dead T-shirts are coming soon.
Coming soon, yeah. I'm working with John over at DC Shirt and Print
Sweet.
to get some pretty awesome
He's going to give
shirts
us.
made.
He's going to give us the hookup.
Yeah.
Okay, nice. Folks, you can find us at Ed's Not Dead PC on Twitter, or, of course, check out the new website that Mr. Crable's worked so hard on, edsnotdead.com, and see those glamour pics that our friend Bruna took that look so good, right, Mr. Siddons?
Absolutely.
Yep.
So good. I did get. I got some feedback,
Oh, you got feedback on the show.
but one of our fans,
Okay,
Joanna Sabatino Hernandez,
right.
she's a math teacher, and she.
I think I know Joanna.
Yeah,
Yeah.
probably. She said, I wanted to send you
or maybe not.
I wanted to send a congratulations on the baby. And she goes, I agree. No, you are not pregnant.
You are not pregnant.
She is.
It's true and
it's
good
true.
feedback.
Does that come from our discussion about that? Was on that
We
one,
are pregnant.
was that on the air?
It was.
Oh, okay.
Okay, I'm totally.
Sometimes it's hard to remember
totally
blanking
what we
on
talked about on the air and what we didn't.
And then soon thereafter, one of my favorite comedians, his special came out. And
Bill Burr.
Bill Burr. And he literally talked about that.
I didn't say Bill Burr. Say Bill Burr good like he does in
Bill Burr.
a nice Boston accent.
Boston. He said
Bill Burr.
Bah.
I haven't watched him yet.
It's he's hysterical.
I'll watch
I
it.
listen because you've been talking about him and sent us that clip.
Yeah.
I did listen to an interview of his with Joe Rogan on Joe Rogan's podcast recently.
The tinfoil Joe Rogan. Jeez.
I don't
Can't
know.
stand him.
I don't
Never
know.
met a conspiracy theory he didn't like.
That's true. I can't believe you lasted the whole 4-hour podcast.
Oh no, I listened
What's
to
the name?
about
What's the name of the pod?
the Joe Rogan Experience.
It's the most popular podcast in the world.
It's got
Are you kidding me?
a bajillion
It's-
people listen to it.
Maybe we
It's
should
crazy.
get him on the show. Does he know
I'd
anything
rather
about
not.
education?
I'll take a sabbatical for that one.
You're really that anti Joe Rogan?
I hate Joe Rogan.
I've never really listened to his.
We know
It's
as always,
terrible.
we know how Casey feels.
It's terrible.
Is it political?
It's everything.
Okay.
He just puts a voice as someone who is the number one podcast in the world. Really, he gives a voice to people who should not have a voice.
Okay, all right.
Alrighty.
Is he the 4chan of podcasts? Not that bad?
I wouldn't. I don't know.
Was that just an overly strong statement? Is Crable going to have to edit that out?
No.
Okay.
He's just radical. He's just an idiot.
All right. Well, we got a great show tonight. We are going to discuss Khan Academy's growing use for pay, right? School systems are now contracting with Khan Academy to do professional development with teachers, to teach teachers how to use Khan Academy as an instructional tool. Although Khan Academy is a nonprofit, but we're going to delve into that. I know Mr. Crable has some feelings about the use of technology in classrooms.
I'm having feelings.
Okay, so we're going to get into that. And then we have a very special interview, fellas, with our friend Lee, who is a 9th grader, 14-year-old in New York, who recently wrote a response to an op-ed in the LA Times that lamented the death of reading in the current generation and how kids are too distracted by screens and social media to really develop good reading habits. And Lee wrote a really pithy, well thought out response, and so we're psyched to hear what she has to say on the show.
Yeah, it'll be nice to get the student perspective.
you-
I
hook that up,
do.
Mr.
I do enjoy talking to kids about their experience in school.
Yeah,
I
and
mean,
we've
they're the
done that
most
over
important-
3 seasons.
Yeah, we have, and I think it's something that educators need to do more of.
yeah,
Not only on our podcast, but just in general.
Yeah.
I like how unvarnished they are.
yes. They'll say it.
Oh yeah,
they'll tell you.
Yeah, they keep it real.
They do, and
Yeah.
they'll tell you how it is, no matter, and they don't care.
Do you like doing this? No, I don't.
Yeah.
I
Oh,
don't.
Well, I was not expecting that.
Adults are stupid. They don't really understand what we're going
They
through.
don't know how to teach.
All right, and then also, Casey, you have Dear Betsy, back by popular demand.
DB without getting in trouble. Hopefully,
The Education Freedom Tour, going around the country promoting freedom in education.
can't wait to get my magnet in my shirt.
All right, so and
Nothing
then-
more American sounding than that.
And
by
then
the way.
and we're double up. We're going to double up in the last episode because we're going to have Dear Betsy and a quiz,
That's right.
a Sidden
An
special.
actual good quiz this time.
Yeah, he was beating himself up.
He
on the
was.
quiz.
Yeah.
Very
in the group text.
He
felt-
he texted
was-
us that he felt
I know.
inadequate about it.
I know.
I still don't even. I think I want to cut it out. Actually, now
And
What?
the quiz or last week's
last
quiz?
week's quiz. This one's going to
too-
be better.
Yeah, I think we can do
can't.
that.
I can't imagine. It's not going to be much better, but it's better.
It's too late. All right, I'm getting my articles mixed up here. We were going to do how Dewey lost the thought battle of the 20th century, but we're not doing that. We're going to talk about Khan Academy.
Yeah, we may, which by the way, we may do on the 19th. I'm going to see if the author David Labaree
Yep.
at Stanford University
Yeah.
will come on and talk to us about it. It's very thought provoking and very long, which is usually our kryptonite.
And you want to front load it
With what?
with just what's it about?
Oh, how Dewey talks about John Dewey. That is
The great progressive
the
educator.
great progressive educator. Speaks in flowery, flowing terms about education that I think pretty much all educators get behind. We talked about this a little bit
Yeah.
on the last pod, but that it requires the perfect or good conditions to grow. And he had a bit of a, I'll say nemesis. I don't know if it was quite a nemesis.
Thorndike?
Snedeker or something like that. I'd have to look it up.
Snedden.
Snedden, thank you.
Very good, Mr. Sids.
Had a more utilitarian view of education, and the education that should essentially produce workers with applicable skills and
Right.
hireable skills. And that although we talk about Dewey as a leader and we love his ideas, in fact, we've succumbed more to the latter.
Thankfully, that argument has been solved.
How do we solve it?
No, it's already been solved.
Oh, we already did. Okay.
Yeah, it's done.
Well, then we don't have to talk about
That's
it.
right.
Yeah. Well, I won't get him on. I won't ask.
I love Dewey so much. I used one of his famous quotes in the last line of my dissertation.
Did you?
Yes. Yeah.
That's pretty
Always,
cool.
when in doubt, use a Dewey
I always
quote.
say, just look up
Absolutely.
Dewey quotes.
Yeah.
You'll find something you'll
Yeah,
like.
they're good. All right, so let's talk about Khan Academy. Compton Unified School District first started using Khan Academy when they deployed the online learning tool on their own. But now several systems in California are actually paying Khan to for their services to train teachers, and mostly to teach teachers how to use Khan instructionally. So I want to get your take on this. One system is going to pay $44,000 a year to partner with Khan. And the article cites it as a growing role that Khan Academy wants to play inside America's classrooms. So what do you guys think? I mean, we've seen kids now for, I guess, over a decade using Khan Academy at night when they need help. Tutors use it. And I'm sure you've seen classroom teachers use it, Casey, quite a bit. So now it could become a more generalized thing through partnerships with school systems. What's your first response to it?
Let me tell you what I like first. So I like that Khan is a nonprofit.
Yeah.
As Sal Khan, the CEO and founder, says, he thinks that being not-for-profit increases the trust level that folks have with us. And I do think that's true. And it talks about how in the article, although they are charging school districts, in fact, what they're charging school districts does not cover the cost of creating and implementing. So they are running at a bit of a deficit that they make up for in philanthropy. So I do think in terms of motives and what looks good on paper, that looks really good.
Sure.
I do think that there is a place for Khan Academy, just as you said. If students are on their own at night outside of the school, I do think that it can serve a place to help reinforce and or try learning a concept in a different manner or a different place.
Not only kids, you're missing one stakeholder group.
Teachers?
No.
Adults? Parents?
Absolutely.
Okay.
I've used it many times with my oldest child.
Yeah.
And they do a great job at explaining concepts and even things that are complicated for, I don't know, for any lay person.
Yeah.
It's helpful.
So I think all of those are speak to the role that it can play in education.
Give us the bad.
But
Do you want to give us the good before he gives us the bad?
give more good. What else am I missing on the good?
I think you summed it up pretty nicely. I think obviously both. I think the school district and Khan Academy as a whole, I think they're going in with good intentions. They're trying to bring in a program to support kids in a different way, supplement learning, hopefully, not supplant learning. And I think the Khan Academy has a genesis from positive intentions and support.
And I was the one thing that I left out too is the personalized and targeted approach. So they are able to take things like test scores on MAP, the measures for academic progress,
Right.
and then create personalized areas of instruction based on
Growth targets.
what other data says that those particular students need help on.
Yeah, so their new paid offerings, 218,000 students in 7 school districts. And Khan's going to be offering teacher training, data dashboards, and then as you mentioned, Mr. Crable, they're going to help students prepare for NWEA's MAP growth test.
Right.
Yeah.
Which is a good test.
Yeah.
So what's the but?
What's the but?
So the but, and what concerns me is the growing trend away from the role of teachers in the classroom, and the increasing importance of self-directed computer learning. So I do think that there's a time and a place for kids to figure things out on their own. I do think there's a time and a place to let kids struggle. I do think there's a time and a place for independent learning. What worries me, though, is that it becomes the norm and or it becomes the crutch for how kids learn. I'm not convinced that students who are struggling and are students who are disengaged in schools are going to come to school excited about the fact that they're going to sit in front of a computer and watch video tutorials, and that's how they're going to learn.
Why don't they do it at home?
Do what at home?
Why do they need to be in school for that? They could just watch the video at home.
Well,
Sure.
so let me ask you.
But that's my point.
Yeah.
Is that I'm concerned that that's what it will end up becoming, or that's will end up becoming the understanding of how it should be used.
Okay,
Yeah.
so let me flip that just a little bit
Yes.
because I want you both to weigh in on this. So you're thinking of it as what I refer to, Casey knows this, as potentially high involvement, low learning, right? They're sitting in front of a computer screen. They're semi-passive. They're watching something. Chromebooks and other technology tools are used a lot. Math games, all that kind of stuff is used extensively in the classroom. But I was thinking, and maybe this is the geezer in me that I am, that what about a teacher standing in front of a room teaching quadratics, and there's a really great lesson in Khan on quadratics, and they use a 5-minute tutorial, and the kids are sitting there and they watch it. So it's a part of direct instruction. It's an explanatory device, to quote John Saphir. What's your take on that?
Totally fine.
Yeah, I think
time and place.
Yeah.
Okay.
Totally fine. And
I mean, teachers are doing that all the time anyway.
yeah, and
right?
and to
Right.
clarify, I don't think that like a non-computer based lesson is somehow inherently better than a computer-based academy lesson. By no means do I think that. But I do know that as ed tech goes, it's sort of like a beast that is never satiated.
Right.
And it just consumes more and more and more. And in general, in education, when we find something we like, I'm not so sure that we're good at moderation in implementing things in moderation.
Well,
I think you're being charitable.
We're more interested in magical one-step solutions.
Right.
Well, and Chromebooks, or at least having laptops in front of kids, tends to be a moderating factor on behavior issues.
You're right, because they might be on something else, and
It doesn't
they're
mean they're off task. It just means that they're not cutting up.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
But it's just like anything else.
It
Like
does
when
moderate their behavior.
When I was in high school and we spent 2 weeks watching Saving Private Ryan, I mean, that was just watching VHS tapes the entire class. I'd say that's similar to watching
Right.
any kind of
Totally.
video.
There's- right.
I mean, I'm not saying that's any
Those movies we used to watch in the old days in social studies.
on the laser disc.
Yeah. No, on the
Oh, the reel to reel.
yeah.
Oh man.
Yeah, real.
I remember
real.
those.
Yeah,
Jeez.
I had those in elementary school.
Yep. So I was going to ask you, pedagogical expert, and I say that seriously. So back to my point, if you're using a Khan lesson as an explanatory device as a teacher, what does that do? Are there other dynamics that get lost if you're using some lesson to show something to kids, then the teacher just logically is not interacting with them anymore? The kids are sitting watching this. They're not interacting with Khan on the screen. I guess you could read the room as a teacher and see who's, but you're not checking. You're not.
You're not promoting discourse.
I'm just the role. You're basically sidelined, and so what I'm getting at is there's something lost in that interplay between teacher and students when a teacher is explicitly explaining something, and they're a real person in the front of the room. But now this is a video. Am I overthinking that?
I don't think so. I think. I mean, are you? What's the point of having a teacher in the room?
Right.
I mean, why don't we just have an auditorium or go down to Redskins Stadium and have just lectures on,
right. So if a
instruction.
kid raises their hand in the middle of the video and says, I didn't get that part.
But if you don't have an expert in the classroom who knows how to do it,
right,
and knows how to break it down piece by piece, then it's not going to be very helpful especially for students who are struggling and even those who need enriched instruction. So the human element of teaching cannot be lost or should not be lost.
And I was going to say 2 points. So one, teaching, in my opinion, it's a people business.
Right.
At its heart, it's not about the content. It's about people and connecting with kids. and having kids know that you believe in them, et cetera, et cetera.
Right.
So I think that's super important. Now, to the other point that you brought up, again, your first example, instead of doing a 5-minute direct instruction and everybody watches a video, totally. I think that's totally fine.
Okay.
But again, my concern is having kids parked in front of computers doing self-paced and self-guided and whatever lessons in the absence of interaction with teacher, and the teacher really, aside from looking at data on a dashboard, which you have access to,
Right.
Some sort of real professional judgment about what kids do or do not get and why they don't get it. Because that's the one thing about data dashboards is it doesn't go into the why, the metacognitive part. You just know that a kid couldn't do X and Y, but you're not sure.
So you're not
why.
really taught. Now you're into the dashboard and understanding what the kid, that diagnostic piece of understanding what they know. Well, getting beyond what they know or don't know and the why behind it.
Yeah. Yeah.
And there's another app, not similar to Khan Academy. I don't know. There must be some different. The way I understand Khan Academy, it was like YouTube videos of a black screen, and he's like using the equations. I don't know if that's different for these teacher trainings or for how they're expecting teachers to use it. But there's another ed tech fad. I'm going to call it a fad, but it's called Pear Deck.
Oh, yeah.
And
I see people using it all the time.
it's super. I mean, it looks great.
Yeah.
I've seen teachers use it to positive effect, but it just seemed to me like when I would see it every day that, like, as a student, why do I want to be in this classroom? I'm sitting in front of a Chromebook and I'm watching you proceed through the slides, and I get to interact by myself every few minutes. To what end? I mean, like, it just does. I mean, it loses the whole point of being in a classroom with other kids.
Not to get too deep on this, but I was thinking about your contention about them sitting in front of laptops looking at a lesson. But in theory, how is that any different than 27 kids looking at a Promethean board?
It's not.
It's kind of the same thing, right?
Totally. Yeah, totally.
So, but you're taking it a step further, which is then in that situation, a teacher would step in and then could assess, well, who got this, who didn't. Your issue might be with the computerized process on a laptop. It's not going to tell the whole story.
Right.
Okay.
And I'm kind of, and then the other thing I think I'm kind of two minds about this is about struggling students. And so my first thought was, if I'm a struggling student, I'm already struggling, and this is not going to necessarily help me. But then the other part of me thinks, well, if I'm a struggling student and the teacher maybe is teaching one thing to everybody and I can't access that, well, maybe this does give me the opportunity to do the things that I need to do to help catch up in order to access that.
Wouldn't you already agree, both of you, that I might get killed for this? But give us a show review and you'll get a sticker.
We didn't say how many stars.
That in a lot of situations in schools, there's this tendency to turn over struggling kids to the robots, to the technology.
Yes.
I mean, math games that reinforce basic facts, reading programs that are for
we don't teach basic math anymore.
Second language learners. Yep. A lot of the software or tech industry for education has been to what? To remediate,
right.
To catch up.
Right.
Versus higher level kinds of things where, kids are getting a lot of rigor. I guess this could be used in a rigorous way, but to me, it also sounds like it's to fill gaps.
I wonder, what would this look like if instead of spending it on even one-to-one technology, that we spent our resources more towards reducing class sizes, where you had more close interaction with kids in a real foundational level that allows you to differentiate, use small groups, incorporate discussion, intervene with kids.
I'll say yes and no. I mean, the thing about technology that makes it so appealing, it's a one-off cost.
No, I totally understand that. But what I am saying, in the teacher, other than the student, the teacher is the most important person in that room.
Yeah.
Obviously, because
Totally
there's
agree.
only two groups, because it would be a teacher and a student. But
I'm in
what
the classroom
saying, like,
sometimes,
in terms
too.
in terms of improving student achievement, the number one important thing is to have an effective and well trained educator in that room.
All right, so I'll leave you with a quiz really quick.
Well, hold on. Because we've been talking about outcomes. Can I talk about outcomes? Because that is in this article.
By the way, for those of you listening,
Student achievement outcomes.
Mr. Crable
He just
put
gave
up
me
the pointer finger.
He did. He totally
Which
told me the
Dr.
whole.
Dodd does not get a lot, maybe
No.
other than his son.
I do not get it.
You do not get the hold on finger.
Crable's been using that a lot lately with his two boys. Okay, go ahead.
I've been used saying please and thank you.
The three-armed Crables.
Go.
But in terms of outcomes in Khan Academy, so it's been around for 14 years, but the research on its use in classrooms is limited. And
Of course it is.
right. And part of that, it sounds like because there hasn't been a lot of transparency or research into what the outcomes or gains have been. However, for some students on California's state test, correlated with higher student usage of Khan Academy, as in they did better when they used Khan Academy. But the study said it wasn't necessarily because of that. So it was a correlation, but the usage of Khan Academy did not necessarily constitute a raise in test scores.
Right.
Well, causation is pretty hard to get
course.
in social science.
Right.
I mean,
And-
sometimes you're happy with a correlation.
And one third of students said they liked math more after using Khan Academy.
Yeah, I think
which I
kids-
think that might be the best data point in there.
I agree.
And-
I think
and-
kids like Khan Academy.
Well, and because if you can find different ways to explain something like math or really any kind of complex topic, and students feel successful at it, they're going to like it more.
Yeah.
So if you can use it to help explain something that the way I'm explaining it, the way my brain works as a math teacher, I'm explaining it, you're not getting it. So here's an alternate way of demonstrating that same concept, then it should be used.
Yeah.
All right, give us your quiz.
Name a computerized literacy program for higher achieving kids.
None.
I mean, I'm sure they're out there. I can't name
Noble
one.
Day School up in Massachusetts does not have Khan Academy.
Name one for kids that are struggling readers.
Read 180.
There you go. I mean, you didn't. You
Study Island.
You barely Study Island.
Remember that?
Yeah, I do
Oh,
remember Study
man.
Island.
I think that reinforces your point pretty strongly.
I just feel like it's another way to kind of warehouse kids into technology that
Whose phone keeps dinging?
It's
by
not
the way?
mine.
is that mine?
It's not mine.
That would be mine. Sorry, I forgot we're doing a podcast. Anyway,
But yes, it warehouses kids to the robots, like you said.
Correct.
I like that term.
yeah. All right, folks, don't go away. We are psyched to have Lee, who is a ninth grader in high school in New York, who's going to come on the show and talk to us about her fury over those of us of older generations and our assertions that we're not producing good readers because kids are spending too much time engaged with what?
Technology.
All right, don't go away. We'll be right back.
Always knew to wear it well, and you look so fancy, I can tell. I don't mind you hanging out and talking in your sleep. I guess you're just
Fellas, we are really excited tonight to have on a student guest. Periodically, we like to get young people on the show to get their take on the world and things related to education. So tonight we are honored to have Lee, who is a 14-year-old ninth grader from New York, who wrote a very compelling response to an op-ed by Jeremy Adams, where he laments the decline among teens of serious reading. And Lee had some pretty strong feelings about that and responded in a really well-written op-ed. So Lee, welcome to Ed's Not Dead.
Thank you. I'm really happy to be here.
And we are totally psyched to have you on the show. So let's jump in. I'm going to hit you with the first question. Tell us what motivated you to write up a response to Jeremy Adams' article lamenting this decline among teens of quote-unquote serious reading with your generation.
Well, first of all, I'll have you know I've always been a bit of a publicity hog. So periodically, I troll the op-eds for something to get mad about.
You like attention dollars? You like those?
A little, but mostly the attention I get is mostly just from my parents while I'm screaming in their ears. So
Okay, nice.
this is a nice change of pace. Eventually, I got away from the op-eds, but, I just started reading the op-ed page, and I saw this op-ed called The Death of Serious Reading. And I'll have you know that if I hate one thing in life, I hate sequels so much. I could go on for hours about how much I hate sequels.
Jeez.
So I thought it was going to be like, I don't know, criticizing J.K. Rowling's decision to, go, they're only going to be $7, and go, wait, no, I saw there was money, never mind. Which, I was all for. But then it turned out it was just yet another boomer basically going, back in my day, these kids read good books, like that book by Stephen King where the woman gets raped again for walking outside late at night. So, that really pissed me off, and I spent, the rest of the day shrieking up at my parents about it, which is, way longer than I normally last, which is, 30 minutes, and they finally got so mad of hearing about hearing it over and over again that my mom especially, she's pointing to herself right now and mouthing me, she was just write an op-ed about it. The newspapers will love to hear it. And I was like, God damn right, Jeremy Adams is going to hear about this.
Oh, boy. Okay. All right. So that was the motivation. All right.
Yeah.
Well, now we know where you stand on sequels and Jeremy Adams.
That was good. So I'm an expecting parent coming soon.
Huh?
So what advice would you give to parents who are worried that their kids are playing too much, as Robbie calls, Mindcraft, and not spending enough time reading?
Okay, that really depends on what age you're talking about, actually, I would say. Because reading is a big part of high school curriculum, so I would say at a young age, it's important to try to get kids to like reading so they don't spend the rest of their school career hating it.
Right.
But, once a kid reaches, 10, they've probably decided whether they've liked reading or not. And rather than making them feel guilty about something that they probably beat themselves up over, honestly, judging from the state of anxiety among my peers,
Yes.
all you can do really is support somebody when they decide, I like this, I don't like this.
Right.
And honestly, a big concern for parents is that video games are just like mindless clicking or mindless scrolling. And although, I wouldn't exactly count time on Instagram as constructive thinking time, I have a friend who's super into Minecraft, and he would build this, amazing stuff with it. He would spend, hours making people's faces in Minecraft, or, building these really big, redstone constructions. Honestly, I never really did that. Mainly, I just, ran away from zombies. But, it's all about the level of engagement with media, and that can happen no matter what the form is. You can be on your phone scrolling through Instagram, or you can, be on your phone identifying birds. You can, be reading, Pulp Fiction, or you can be reading, highbrow poetry. It's not the media's form. It's whether you care about it and whether you're engaged with it. And honestly, that's something that can happen no matter whether something is video games or reading, and that's something I feel really passionate about talking about.
Do you think, so one of the quotes from the article that I pulled out from his article was, then the era of the smartphone invaded the classroom and everything changed. So what do you think the use of technology is a problem at all for teens? Or to what extent is it a problem?
Well, I would like to start this out with, I think technology isn't just a problem in terms of phones, because as my mom would say, she spent her entire childhood perched in front of the TV. So I'd like to start this out with, I think that technology use can be a problem, but it's not a phone-only problem. It lasts. And I mean this in terms of, with I don't think it's a problem in the classroom, per se. Honestly, kids are going to be distracted no matter what's going on. I think it enables distraction, but honestly, I've listened to music on my headphones a couple times during really boring classes, and it was either that or fall asleep. And honestly, I think my teachers prefer me listening to music.
So you sound like a really well-adjusted teen, Lee. I'm curious about how you, because you're obviously a big reader, I assume, too, right?
Yeah, I love reading.
Right. So how did you just kind of naturally create this balance for yourself where you're highly literate, you love to read, but you also use technology to consume and maybe even create art in your own way? Where did those good habits come from?
Well, I'd like to start out with social media. I see social media as entirely separate from technology.
Okay.
I hate social media. I have used Instagram for 3 months, and I have never gone back.
Okay.
So I actually think that's important. Technology and social media are really they're almost different things.
Okay.
Social media is about seeing as much as possible in a short span and engaging very lightly with detached networks of people. But I think a lot of video games, for example, are really about forging deeper long-term connections. My dad always complains about that he likes video games, but he never plays them because he already has a real-life job. And I think that's what engaging with any form of media is. It's like a second life, almost. It's another way of thinking.
Mm-hmm.
But social media really only extends your first life into all these uncomfortable areas where you don't want this life to be. So when you're trying to escape, you just see other people's lives, and that's not very fun.
Yeah.
Okay, that was the whole social media tangent.
No,
but
that's good. Because I think,
Profound.
I think it's good to draw the distinction between technology and social media. Because I
right.
think a lot of adults would probably equate them the same thing, and when they refer to technology, I think they're also referring generally to social media.
Yeah, they throw it all in there.
Yeah, making
Right.
the
Yeah.
distinction.
yeah,
Go ahead, Lee. Go ahead.
yeah, that's totally my problem. It's I honestly am really old-fashioned kind of in that I hate social media, but I don't like it when people are just oh, technology is the worst. And it's I'm sure you enjoy going to the movies and not seeing black and white pictures.
But I bet you if you ask 9 out of 10 high school students if they enjoy their time on social media, they would say that they don't. Don't you think?
Yeah,
I don't know.
I agree.
They're on it all the time, but because they feel compelled because that's how they communicate with a lot of their peers. But you can't tell me that they have enjoyable experiences on it on a consistent basis.
Yeah, I can't, and I honestly think that misleads a lot of people into thinking that the technology that's inspired social media can only be used for this kind of false partial escape. But it can be used for so many other great things, and you just have to I think a big part of reading for a lot of people is oh, it's just me, it's an escape from everything else. And quite honestly, Minecraft can be that too. In Minecraft, there's no other people around to disrupt your bubble unless you're doing multiplayer, but that's a whole other deal.
Right.
And that's the kind of thing. When we want to escape, we don't go where other people are. And this idea of social media has created a false idea that all technology enables is false escapes, kind of. And that creates this fear that the older generation has that the younger generation doesn't experience things as fully as they do because they don't have inner lives.
I'm curious, Lee, is your I felt some kinship with your mom when you talked about her plop down in front of the TV. Is she a Gen Xer like me? Because I did the same thing.
Yeah, she's 50 years old. Yeah.
There you go. Ding, ding, ding. Yeah.
Raised by the TV.
Raised by the latchkey kids, raised by the TV. All right. Well, we're gonna keep an eye out for you, Lee, and we've loved having you on the show, right, guys?
Absolutely. Thanks for taking time.
Yeah, we really appreciate you coming on a podcast run by 3 older guys, one Gen Xer and 2 millennials, and we wish you all the best in school and in your personal life, and We wish you the best as you continue to seek to try to strike that balance in your own life. So thanks for coming on Ed's Not Dead.
Thank you. I really appreciate it. I wish you guys the best too.
Right, and make sure you check us out on social media, Lee. Okay. All right, we'll talk to you. Thanks, Lee.
Thank you.
All right, bye. And we are back. Welcome back to Ed's Not Dead.
It's just what I needed.
Yeah, that car's just what I needed. That was a great way to start the show.
good.
It was.
Too bad we've gotten a cease and desist order
I know. Already. How did they know?
I don't know.
Thanks again to our star of the show, Lee. We really loved having her on. She made some incredible points, and she's obviously very bright.
Yeah.
There were a few times where her thinking about technology and social media, the way she separated those two was interesting.
Frame the difference.
Yeah.
Very thoughtful.
I think I've
Yeah,
always
like
probably been guilty of conflating those as well.
Yes. Me too.
So anyway, we want to thank her for coming on Ed's Not Dead, and we can't wait till she zings the adult world again with another op-ed.
Woo!
All right, so let's get to it. Without further ado, it is that time.
Cue the music.
We have been on a Dear Betsy hiatus, and we are back. So, Mr. Siddons, what do you got?
Got to wait until there's news. You know.
That's right. She's been in hiding.
Is it true now that she has survived 3 years of the administration?
Yep.
She
one of the last ones
one of
standing?
the lone survivor.
Ben
with,
Carson.
with Kiefer Sutherland.
Her and Ben Carson.
Ben Carson.
Yeah.
Are kind of the two names that pop out.
Ben Carson.
Munchin? Was Munchin? Or
Mnuchin.
Mnuchin.
Munchin. Jeez. You know.
It is
Pretty
confusing that it's
funny, though.
MN, but
It's
yes.
Mnuchin. I'm sorry.
Ben Carson might not last after the news from today, so
Okay.
I'll let people Google that one.
Right. All right. And we're not concerned with him and HUD. We're concerned with
housing policy is education policy.
Oh, very
Thank
good.
you, Richard
Okay.
Rothstein.
Yes,
Thank
Richard
you.
Rothstein.
Thank you.
Okay, there you go. Nice association.
Bringing
there.
it back.
Free association.
Freeze.
Okay. All right. Go
Very
ahead.
dewy.
Very dewy.
So I'm reading the Washington Post here. Right. Education Secretary Betsy Devos began her 2019 back to school tour Monday, right?
Is there a link I should be looking at?
You could look at it if you want.
Okay, go ahead.
So it's called what is it called, Mr. Krabs?
Education Freedom Tour 2019.
Tour. And the quote here that really makes me happy is, given that she runs a publicly funded department and that most U.S. students attend schools in traditional public systems, you might think she would go to one in a district working hard to improve its academic performance.
Well, she's never been one to go to public schools.
No, she didn't. She did not go to a public school, and she didn't choose a city because of the achievements of its public schools. Rather, she went to St. Marcus Lutheran School in Milwaukee and touted that city as the birthplace of modern education freedom.
So what does that mean?
What does it mean?
In what city you said?
Milwaukee.
Milwaukee.
I thought it was Minneapolis. Remember we talked about?
No, that's the cradle of the charter movement.
Yeah.
So she and
I thought charter. I
the
thought
piece
it was the
said
same
that
thing.
it's a reference to a program started under a 1989 law that was the first in the country to give substantial public funding for students to use for private, non-sectarian schools. It later expanded to include religious schools. So, good start to the year with our wonderful.
I love the
education
messaging,
secretary.
by the way. The education freedom, and she's been in the Department of Education has been very consistent about equating not having to go to public schools as freedom.
Right.
Yeah.
Freedom to choose.
Yeah. On a corollary note, did you hear about Assistant U.S. Secretary of Education Scott Stump?
I did. I saw a headline for it, but tell us more.
What about Mr. Stump?
So he visited Tucson, Arizona,
Right.
which if you've not heard our interview with Kathy Hoffman, go back and do that.
You should.
We did. Great interview. But he visited University High School, and he touted its blue ribbon school status. And he said, we're here celebrating not just the blue ribbon school status from a few years ago, but also the fact that Arizona charter schools have done something really unique in the past decade. Presumably implicating the fact that University High School was a charter school, which he thought it was. And then a reporter afterwards said, just so you know, University High School is actually a public school. And he insisted that no, it was not. No, University High School is a charter school, Stump said, before going on to explain how charter schools differ from traditional public schools. See, charter schools are public schools, Stump said. It's kind of a misconception.
I see.
Yeah, it's kind of a misconception.
We've been wrong all this time.
Yeah, they have to be attached either to a school district or some statewide authorizing body that holds them accountable like a public school district. And it's a straight up public school. You have to test to get in. It is a test-in school.
Yeah.
Yes, but it is a straight up traditional public school.
All right, Mr. Stump. So,
Which
Casey,
is kind of amusing.
Casey, tell me about the Education Freedom Scholarships. Did you see that?
No.
Okay, so
Oh, I missed that.
Devos and President Trump said that when they took office, expanding school choice was their top priority. So Education Freedom Scholarships would be funded by individuals and businesses, and this is a shocker, who wanted to privately donate to what I guess we can all guess. But Trump's 2020 budget plan includes $5 billion that would be used to pay for tax credits that donors would receive on a dollar-for-dollar basis.
Nice. I'm going to donate.
$1 for a scholarship gets you $1 tax credit. So I guess they're incentivizing the wealthy to donate to...
Well, we know what education freedom scholarships are.
They're vouchers.
Vouchers, yes.
That's what it is.
Oh, I had passed that test. Yeah, they're vouchers.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So they've also been consistent about that. If nothing else, they're consistent.
And then she tried to advance a new definition of public funding. And she said in a tweet, if the taxpayer's paying it's public education. I don't know if you knew that.
Sounds logical.
There is no system.
There is no system.
Getting down to brass tacks, the federal government would be foregoing up to $5 billion in revenue to cover the cost of Devos's Education Freedom Scholarships. Private actors may be fronting this money with their donations, but they would get a dollar-for-dollar tax credit in return. That's money that could have been put to another use, such as...
Public schools?
Yeah.
That's awesome. Good start to the school year.
I kind of wish I knew more about the federal budget, education budget under DeVos. We haven't really peeled that onion.
No. We talked a little bit about when she came out with the budget sometime last year.
Yeah.
And was kind of roundly, is it lambasted?
Lambasted.
Lambasted.
The emphasis on the first syllable.
That's as bad as Stephen Munchin.
Munchin.
I don't know how to pronounce words good.
I don't either.
So, but thank you for clearing that up.
Okay. Anyway,
there you go.
So dear Betsy, thanks for coming on the show.
Welcome back. We expect you to be on the next episode.
We missed you.
We're glad to have you. So all our fans out there that love Dear Betsy, there you go. You got your fix. Now, we know most of you don't like our quizzes, but we're going to do one anyway.
Wrong.
Mr. Siddons, is it going to be better than last time?
Oh, it's going to be so much better.
All right. What do you got for us?
It's not on homework, is it?
Well, so since we talked about it beforehand.
Just kidding.
You took my homework idea. That was the
I
did. That was the discussion.
I
before the
might
show.
have scrolled down further than I should have and looked at the first question.
Before we got onto the recording of the show, we had a lengthy discussion of homework and the pressures that our students are experiencing.
Yeah.
And
Definitely more homework now than ever.
Yeah,
absolutely.
For sure.
Yeah. Absolutely. I just didn't do my homework, so it's going up from 0.
Okay.
All right.
In school. Anyway, so
What do you got?
ready? It's a quiz on homework, and then I threw in some extra point questions about the Khan Academy.
Oh, wow. It's so topical.
I'm trying to be a little more tops.
Nice. I like it.
All right, number 1. In this reference for this question is maybe not accurate. In what year was the concept of homework invented? A, 1905, B, 1922, C, 1843, or D, 1943?
I'm going to go with 43.
Yeah, whatever the latest one was is what I was going to go with.
Correct answer, at least from this person, 1905.
Okay.
Invented by Roberto Novellis, an Italian pedagogue who invented the homework. It was actually quoted the homework. And is it pedagogue or pedagogue? Pedagogue?
I feel smarter when I say pedagogy.
Pedagogue?
When you said pedagogue, I had a moment where I wondered whether it was a Steve Munchin. I didn't know whether you.
Steve Munchin.
All
right.
Pedagogue?
Pedagogue. It just sounds
Well, it's pedagogical.
right.
I don't know.
Pedagogue.
But again, I think you sound smarter when you say pedagogy.
Yeah, pedagogue is good.
Pedagogue.
Yeah, that soft G is good.
All right, number 2. According to the National Parent-Teacher Association, they talk about the 10-minute rule. Children I just gave you the answer. Never mind.
10 minutes.
So
I got it.
So there's
One for me.
That's terrible. Children should have no more than how many minutes of homework for each grade reached? And the choices were 5, 10, 12, and 15. The answer is
15.
10-minute rule.
the 10-minute rule.
Okay.
So
All right.
anyway, in first grade, children should have 10 minutes of daily homework. In second grade, 20 minutes, so on. In the 12th grade, when an average, they should have 120 minutes of homework each day.
I got to tell you, I have
That seems like
that's more like it.
a lot.
I got to tell you, I have a first
120?
grader.
120 minutes, that's 2 hours.
When you're, how are you supposed to not do 2 hours if you're taking multiple AP courses
Every night?
or you're studying for an IB diploma or you're? I mean, I don't.
I don't know.
AP
It's
curriculum
a discussion
is
for
pretty
another
dense.
day about how the effectiveness of homework.
Okay.
Anyway, you were saying?
No, I said I have a first grader, and the idea of doing 10 minutes of homework every night is a bit daunting.
Yeah.
And unappealing, quite frankly.
I mean,
We read for 10. I guess we read for 10 minutes, or more than 10 minutes. So
Aren't they-
count that
are-
as homework.
Get ready for the
students-
tears.
Shouldn't students have to be able to do the homework by themselves, not with parents' help?
No, then how would you get those killer science fair projects?
Anyway,
I like teachers who view homework as classwork that they're working on that.
they didn't finish because they
Yeah.
don't have good time management.
No, but I mean, if it takes a little longer, you can finish it at home.
Wait, are you saying that's good or bad?
Oh,
I
thought you were being
I like
facetious.
that idea. It's not. I mean, because to me, then it kind of naturally extends what's going on in the classroom. It's not. You guys are not
I'm
buying
not a
it.
fan of it.
Okay, well,
It's a discussion for another day.
okay, fine. All right, go ahead.
Number 3, in 2013, the University of Phoenix College of Education commissioned a survey of how much homework teachers typically give their students. From kindergarten to 5th grade, it was just under... I'm sorry. Totally. I'm making sure I don't give you the answer again.
Radio silence.
It's so bad.
It's a killer on our ratings.
It's okay. So, how many... That's really bad. You're going to have to cut all this out. It's so uncomfortable.
Did you write a question?
I wrote the question.
This quizzes.
It's so bad.
We were promised a better quiz.
Jeez. Oh, okay. So here, hold on. From kindergarten to 5th grade, it was just under 3 hours per week. From 6th to 8th grade, it was 3.2 hours. And from 9th to 12th grade, it was how many hours? Is it A, 1 hour?
Middle school was 3 point something.
2.
Middle school was 3.2 hours. Is it A, 1 hour, B, 3.5 hours, C, 4.5 hours, D, 5.5 hours?
4.5.
5.5.
3.5 hours.
So there's not really an appreciable difference between middle and high school.
Nope.
Interesting. I would have not guessed that.
I would
Well.
not have either.
Number 4,
When was that study done?
2013.
Okay.
Number 4, who stated the following quote about homework?
John Dewey.
I prefer teachers who give students something to take home to think about besides homework. A, George Carlin. B, Bill Murray. C, Mr. Rogers. Or D, Lily Tomlin.
I'm going with Mr. Rogers. I get that one. I'm Gen X.
All right, I'll go with Lily Tomlin.
Lily Tomlin is correct.
That's painful.
Cold sauce.
Lily Tomlin didn't teach.
So what?
Do you guys even know who she is?
Yeah, she's an actress and comedian.
Okay, go ahead. All right.
Number 5, this is Khan Academy.
I'm down 0-2.
Yes, you are.
In 2016, what was Khan Academy's approximate revenue? A, 44.8 million. B, 34.8 million. C, 24.8
I'm going with the
million.
high number, 44.
24.8.
$44.8 million.
Back in the game.
You are. And number 6.
Making it interesting.
can I
on
tie
the
it
last
up at
one.
the end?
Yes, you
This
can.
is an open-ended question.
Love it.
Okay.
Okay?
But open-ended question with a one answer.
Yes.
Okay.
There's one answer.
So whoever's
there's-
closest.
Right.
Correct.
Okay.
Number 6. What was the genesis of Khan Academy?
Him working with his child.
Being a rich guy with lots of time and money on his hands and having a great idea.
I'm going to give it to Dr. Dobbs.
You better put the doctor on.
The Mr. Doctor.
Mr.
The
Dr.
organization
Dobbs.
started in 2008 when Sal Khan tutored one of his cousins in mathematics on the internet using a service called Yahoo Doodle Images.
Boom.
Yeah, I think that's close enough for
Yeah.
me.
I tied it up.
Tied.
Well done.
You don't have a tiebreaker in there?
I'm going to
No.
give you a sticker for that.
Whoa.
Okay,
Yeah.
right here.
My
Look,
goodness.
I got the sticker right here.
Biome.
No, you're a tie. I like having ties.
Yeah.
I'm all about ties.
He still gets a sticker.
Everybody's a winner.
That was good. Give me 5. Good quiz, Mr. Siddons.
Yes.
There was a low bar from last week. Last time.
As always, if you have ideas for quizzes for Mr. Siddons, he's all ears, especially in season 3 where the start's been a little questionable.
He's had to do, in his defense, he's had to do a lot of quizzes. Yeah, watch out for the microphone.
There's a lot of weak facts out there about certain education topics.
How many things can you really be quizzed on?
Correct. Thank you.
You do a bang-up job, Case.
By the way, I got this new computer, and I keep touching it. I want it to be touchscreen.
Don't.
It's not.
Just stop.
Beep, bop, boop.
It's uncomfortable.
All right, you can find us at Ed's Not Dead PC on Twitter and our spiffy new website, edsnotdead.com. And as always, we're brought to you by Pulp Education, a full-service educational media company specializing in leadership, instruction, and 21st century school reform. Mr. Krabs, you want to remind the audience about the swag giveaway?
Yep. Give us a review on iTunes and then let us know that you did so, because otherwise we're not going to know who you are. And tag us and 10 people and say, hey, listen to this episode. It's really great.
Nice.
And then I'll say thank you, and then you'll send me your address, and I shall send you 5 stickers.
Okay.
And then you have to give them
You might
away to
even
everyone.
you might even get a little thank you note too.
There's going to be a handwritten note in there.
Absolutely.
But I didn't want to tell anyone, but that's okay.
And
Sorry.
stay tuned for T-shirts coming soon.
Coming soon, T-shirts.
Yep.
Yeah.
And do get on the website and check out all of the very well-written blogs that Mr. Siddons and Mr. Crable have written.
On a side note,
over the last couple of years.
do you think people prefer black T-shirts or white T-shirts?
black T-shirts?
Of course.
Absolutely black.
Everybody likes. Okay. That's
Or
what I-
gray.
that's what I said.
No one likes white T-shirts.
I'm a big fan of gray.
Everybody likes black.
That's
Yeah.
true.
Yep.
That's true.
Go with black.
Okay, that's what I did, but just making sure.
Can't go wrong. Okay, Mr. Krabs, you got us hooked up with any special appearances coming up?
Yeah, on our next one, which is a bit of a ways away, unfortunately, we do have the one, the only, the Randy Weingarten coming on the show.
She's really going to come on.
She's really going to
So
come
excited.
on.
That will be a big deal.
We've only said it like 5 times before.
I know.
That's okay. But yes,
She's wanted to come on the show.
She has.
She is a busy person.
yeah, and I think it's actually in some ways better now because I do want to talk to her about the cross section of politics and teaching because AFT is quite active politically. So I'm curious to know how
Intersectionality, as the liberals call it.
intersectionality 101.
That's good.
That's good. Well placed.
Yeah, there you go.
But I do want to hear about how teachers can kind of walk that line and how to approach it. I'm curious for her take on that, amongst other things.
Okay, and that'll be like a Dear Betsy. That'll be a Dear Betsy segment in and of itself.
Yeah, total. I mean, if we go down that rabbit hole, I'm sure she's got some opinions.
Yep.
Wasn't that based on a 90s song, Mr. Intersectionality?
I don't know
Is that
that
from
song.
95?
Is that from Fish?
No. I looked it up. It's by Gillette. Intersectionality.
I don't remember that.
No memory.
I know. Gillette.
I don't know. I've never heard of it before. I looked it up.
All right, that's good. All right, Mr. Siddons, you got anything coming up?
A baby.
Nice.
Coming soon.
Any minute.
Stay tuned.
Any minute.
I'm
November?
counting down weeks. Yeah.
All right.
It's scary.
It's going to be great.
Scary.
And then you're going to be on paternity leave,
That's right.
but you still have to do the show.
That's right.
There's no paid leave on,
No.
Absolutely
on this
not.
program.
If I don't show up, I get fired.
We expect you here.
In the words of Casey Siddons, when you make a commitment to record,
That's right.
you
That's
show
right.
up and you
That's
record.
right.
Kind of like I want the audience to know that I was scheduled to be at my teenagers back to school night tonight, and I didn't have our recording date on the calendar.
I definitely
So-
texted and said, "Hey, you want me to pick up some sandwiches?" And Robbie said, when? And I go, that's not a good sign.
at like 6, and I was like,
Okay, why? Are you going to hand them off to me as I'm going?
I'm just going to give you some sandwiches, man.
sorry. All right. Once again, thank you to our special guest, Lee. She did a great job. We really liked having her on the show. And we hope that her uncle retweets her awesome appearance on Ed's Not Dead.
Yeah.
What's his name?
Umansky.
Yeah.
I think Eric
Umansky.
Editor for...
ProPublica.
He works for ProPublica.
Okay.
Yeah.
Good. Anyway,
Does some good work for them.
thanks again, Lee, and thanks to her mom for allowing her to come on the show. Ellen, we really liked having her. Folks, check out our website at Ed's Not Dead, or the Twitter at... Oh, God. That was so terrible.
So many ats.
Crable,
We're at edsnotdead.com.
Crable, you gotta edit that. And tune in to episode...